What's up, my beautiful people? Exile451 here with yet another daily dose of Reddit Happy. Going back into r/deciding to be better today, so let's get to it. Our first post is from user Obdurate Gent. I don't have an interesting title, but I had an epiphany of sorts just the other day that I thought I'd share. Hi. I won't get into too many of the details, but I was about to end myself a few days ago. It's been a hard couple of months with one thing and another, and crap went really dark for a sec. The blade was sitting on my wrist when a little voice decided to pop into my mind. There's still crap to do, boy. There's been a lot of stress in my little life lately. Most of it because of goals that I want to reach and the pressures that I've been placing on myself as well to achieve them. And then came the epiphany. How do you run up a mountain? You put your shoes on and you don't think about the mountain. You put one foot in front of the other and then suddenly you're all the way at the top. See, the goal, it's just the title of the puzzle. Every action, every day are the pieces. It's the stupidest advice, take it day by day, but it's true. Don't freaking worry about the big picture right now. Focus on what you're going to do today that's going to make that a reality. We all get so overwhelmed by the goal that we don't see that the goal is just made up of little steps. I can say I want to put on 10 kilograms of muscles until I turn blue in the face. But unless I focus on eating right and picking up a set of dumbbells, I'm never gonna get there. You catch my drift? I'll do it later if there's time is a phrase that means you're never going to do it. Do it now. Do it today. And also, take it easy on yourself. We're not all freaking Superman and Wonder Woman, are we? This pressure that we place on ourselves to achieve and aspire so high is unnecessary. Just focus on today. Make today count. In summary, focus on today. What are you going to do today to get you where you want to be in life? Take it easy, people. Cheers for reading. Well, you're definitely not wrong, OP. I know I personally set such high and lofty goals for myself that it seems almost impossible to achieve them, and so it's very discouraging to even try. Especially when life sets you back out of things that are beyond your control, and it's hard not to blame yourself over it in some cases. You know, if I were only better, if I were only more motivated, if I was only able to push myself just a little harder, I might have been able to get that today. Success is rarely something that comes all at once. It is a long-term game. 99.9% of people don't just walk in somewhere and immediately have the sort of success that everyone wants to achieve and have it last. Goals and expectations are great things to have. They can be great motivators to try and push yourself to get yourself somewhere better than where you currently are. But you're right, it's important to focus on the things you can do in the short term, rather than be so fixated and focused on the long term that you end up losing sight of what it takes to get there. I'm glad that you had this epiphany and that you felt so inspired as to share the post with others. Keep doing what you're doing. Please do post and let people know that your life is going better. And wherever you're at right now, I really do wish you the best. Our next post is from a deleted user. Finally got over mental health hurdle, and now I see that green grass on the other side everyone's told me about. So I have struggled with depression, undiagnosed ADHD, and anxiety for all my life. It made me feel all through my adolescence and grade school that I was a failure. I knew I was smart, but I could never follow through on anything and felt like everybody around me was in on some great universal secret to happiness and success. Well, somehow I graduated high school and went on to college. I was thinking that the free atmosphere of learning at college would help me to find purpose and drive, which I've craved all my life. Instead, it took me about 5.5 years on and off to earn my associate's degree in general studies. I dropped out of several semesters in the middle while I was there, and had to retake classes that I became disinterested in. Hello, ADHD. At this point, I really didn't know where to go with my life. Felt like I had no real ability to follow through with what I wanted to do, and felt I was just destined to be a general failure in life. End of last year though, I had an epiphany. I'm still not entirely sure what led me to it, maybe some internet article or something sparked an idea, but that led me to go to a psychiatrist and get formally diagnosed with the aforementioned mental disorders and get properly medicated as well. Shortly after I was established on a proper dosage, I experienced massive changes in my life. I suddenly had my eyes opened to what it must be like for a normal person to just get stuff done without having to mentally coerce myself for hours into doing it. Say, doing my job, folding laundry, doing dishes, calling a human being. I felt like I could suddenly tackle things I decided were not options to me. I began to innovate processes at work and improve them greatly. I enrolled in my school for a BS in marketing management, which I'm slated to finish mid next year. I began to work out and eat healthy, and I've lost almost 50 pounds this year, along with greatly increasing my muscle mass, endurance, and flexibility. Things I've never enjoyed as a fat, lethargic, and unmotivated fat guy. I've never felt drive nor direction in my life, but suddenly I've found a way forward that gives me hope. And it's incredibly liberating. Basically, if you read to the end of this, I want to say that if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, that you can't get any progress and feel like you're failing, please don't give up. And don't self-medicate with drugs, food, porn, whatever. Instead, try and observe yourself and find out what the course issues are that are shackling you down and tackle those head on like your life depends on it. Because frankly, it really does. Well, you're right, OP. Our life really can just depend on what issues we're going to allow to stay prevalent and what ones we're going to actually deal with. If we just allow ourselves to be sucked down by depression and procrastination and anxiety and all sorts of things that might hold us back, then yeah, our life isn't going to amount to much. But if we're willing to tackle those head on, find out what's driving them, and then move past it, move forward from it, deal with it, and become something better, then we'll see success at life. It's wonderful that you were able to find success through getting medicated, and you know what, I can really relate with this post because I myself am wildly ADHD. And there have been times where I've been on and off medication, and it's been definitely a huge difference in terms of how successful and how motivated and how focused I can be. Medication's a perfectly fine thing, and for people like us, as well as everyone else out there who struggles with these sort of issues, it can be life-changing. So I'm glad that you finally went to a psychiatrist and got that diagnosis so that your life could be able to turn around. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your story, and I'm so glad to hear that you're doing so much better. Wherever you're at right now, though, I really do wish you the best. Our next post is from user Josiah Nethery. But first, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you can get more of your daily dose of Reddit Happy. Chipping away at the negatives only leaves room for positive growth. Over the past few years, I've slowly been on an upward climb towards someone who I'm proud of being. I've eliminated most of my vices. I quit drinking alcohol, 5 months and counting sober. Quit smoking, quit weed, quit animal products, quit coffee, quit procrastinating, quit porn, and quit Facebook. Things I've added: reading the Bible, meditation/mindfulness, drinking tea, drinking more water, and working harder. Now, I don't want to sound like an ascetic or something. I don't believe people need to deprive themselves, but many of these choices to quit things were out of a personal need. Coffee, for example, I quit to aid with my sleep quality and anxiety. I'm not saying everyone should quit coffee, just saying what has worked for me. So far, the benefits have been fantastic. It's so refreshing to tackle every day with confidence and drive, and not be bogged down by distractions and negativity. It's so easy to fall into a cycle of being addicted to getting drunk, staying up late, wasting your time on social media, and then suffering through the workday with a hangover, unable to focus. When you let go of your vices, you are free, and the feeling is wonderful. Well, a bit of a shorter post, but poignant and applicable nonetheless. You are absolutely right, OP. We live in a society of immediate self-indulgence, where we can get almost anything we want to numb ourselves out on demand. Drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever you want, it's right there at your fingertips. And we live in a world that promotes the idea of just going out and indulging yourself, of masking the pain that you feel with all of these different vices. But at the end of the day, they don't actually do anything. They don't even end up being a band-aid after a while. They just end up leaving you feeling even more guilty. When you finally actually address the things that you're using those vices to mask, that's when you improve. Like you, I don't think that people necessarily need to deprive themselves entirely, but when you get to the point where you're using them as a way to hide how you're feeling, that's when it's an issue. And you're also right on the second part. The benefits of breaking free from that and working towards making yourself a better person are so much better. You are able to actually become a respectable human being and be comfortable with yourself. Wherever you're at, I really do wish you the best. Our next post is from a deleted user. 2020 is the year I debut as an adult. I'm 21. I spent my 4 years at university as a man-child and an addict. I hid from reality and from my problems with an ever-changing set of coping mechanisms. Sometimes they were positive, like social events, but more often they were simply wastes of time. Phone, games, porn. I was and still am unprepared to make the biggest decisions I have to face. Who am I? What will I do with myself? But I realized something recently. I may not be able to positively assert an authentic identity, but I can define myself negatively or by defining what I am not. And moreover, I know what behaviors are good for me. So I'll declare it here for myself. I am no longer an addict. I fought with PMO for 6 years and the battle has slowly been turning in my favor, although I will trip up here and there. Last year, I was heavily addicted to the mobile game Clash Royale. My song of the year was T-Slamp, an acronym for time spent looking at my phone. Very little changed in 2019. And in 2019, Reddit has proven itself to be a serious problem, although YouTube was far worse. Yesterday, the internet in my apartment went out. I'm only living here through the new year. I take this as a sign. I will unplug the router and not use the internet at home anymore. In the meantime, I will prepare for the dopamine-free 2020 by deleting all the games on my phone, as well as Netflix, YouTube, Instagram, Whisper, and Tinder. I realize that this is a lot at once, but I know that cutting things out cold turkey is the most effective method for me. And I know from experience that if one dopamine device is still allowed, I will binge on that. It doesn't matter if it's YouTube, Sudoku, or a girlfriend. On top of this, I will practice 4 things that have absolutely proven themselves as effective pillars of a healthy life. I have only given these up when I've fallen into dark times. They are meditation, journaling, gratitude, and dancing. If I change myself fundamentally from the old addict into the new person who practices healthy things, I will, through this, be able to answer the question, who am I? I will say, I am not who I was. This is 2020. OP, those are some really lofty goals, and I truly hope that you're able to hit them. I keep seeing this thing about dopamine fasts and be dopamine free, and the fact of the matter is, dopamine in and of itself is not a bad thing. You generate dopamine from things like working out, or a physical touch, or just receiving praise. Dopamine is a chemical that induces pleasure in the brain. The problem is when it becomes an addiction, when you simply live for that dopamine hit. Maybe this is for you, but relationships, video games, done in the right way, that can be healthy dopamine. If this is what you feel is going to work for you though, again, go for it. You've got goals, and I really do think that you can hit them. The important thing here though is that you realized what was holding you back. You realized what the things were that were driving you away from being who you wanted to be. And I think one especially significant point that you make here is that it's important to define yourself by what you're not. You're not a loser. You're not a failure. You're not a waste of space in society. Even if you can't tell yourself right now that you're a success or that you're where you want to be, you can at least tell yourself that you're not as bad as you could be. And that's something I often forget myself. Honestly, thank you so much for that reminder, and also just thank you for sharing the post. Wherever you're at, I do wish you the best. That was r/deciding to be better, and if you want more stories about people making changes for their lives for the better, then go ahead and check out that playlist link in the description below. Now you guys go out there, have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Exile451. Stay beautiful, people.